goats, cattle, camels, and poultry. 4. Most Yemenis are employed in agriculture. However, the role of agricultural sector is limited by the relatively low share of the sector in GDP and the large share of net food buying households, 97%. 276. Sorghum is the most common crop. Cotton and many fruit trees are also grown, with mangoes being the most valuable. A big problem in Yemen is the cultivation of khat, or cat, a psychoactive plant that releases a stimulant when chewed, and accounts for up to 40% of the water drawn from the Sana'a Basin each year, and that figure is rising. Some agricultural practices are drying the Sana'a Basin and displaced vital crops, which has resulted in increasing food prices. Rising food prices, in turn, pushed an additional 6% of the country into poverty in 2008 alone. 277. Efforts are being made by the government and the Wadi Borough community of northern governorates to replace cat with coffee plantations. 278. Industry. The industrial sector is centered on crude oil production and petroleum refining, food processing, handicrafts, small-scale production of cotton textiles and leather goods, aluminum products, commercial ship repair, cement, and natural gas production. In 2013, Yemen had an industrial production growth rate of 4.8%. 4. It also has large proven reserves of natural gas. 279. Yemen's first liquefied natural gas plant began production in October 2009. Export and import. In 2013, exports totaled $6.694 billion. The main export commodities are crude oil, coffee, dried and salted fish, liquefied natural gas. These products were mainly sent to China, 41%, Thailand, 19.2%, India, 11.4%, and South Korea, 4.4%. Imports totaled $10.97 billion. The main imported commodities are machinery and equipment, foodstuffs, livestock, and chemicals. These products were mainly imported from the EU, 48.8%, UAE, 9.8%, Switzerland, 8.8%, China, 7.4%, and India, 5.8%. 4. State budget. Drilling for oil using a land rig. As of 2013, the government's budget consisted of $7.769 billion in revenues and $12.31 billion in expenditures. Taxes and other revenues constituted roughly 17.7% of the GDP, with a budget deficit of 10.3%. The public debt was 47.1% of GDP. Yemen had reserves of foreign exchange and gold of around $5.538 billion in 2013. Its inflation rate over the same period based on consumer prices was 11.8%. The external debt totaled $7.806 billion. 4. Water supply and sanitation. A key challenge is severe water scarcity, especially in the highlands, prompting the Times, in 2009, to write Yemen could become first nation to run out of water. 280. A second key challenge is a high level of poverty, making it difficult to recover the costs of service provision. Access to water supply sanitation is low. Yemen is both the poorest country and the most water-scarce country in the Arab world. Third, the capacity of sector institutions to plan, build, operate and maintain infrastructure remains limited. Last but not least, the security situation makes it even more difficult to improve or even maintain existing levels of service. The average Yemeni has access to only 140 cubic meters of water per year, 101 gallons per day, for luces, while the Middle Eastern average is 1000 m3/yr, and the internationally defined threshold for water stress is 1700 cubic meters per year. 281. Groundwater is the main source of water in the country, but water tables have dropped severely, leaving Yemen without a viable source of water. For example, in Sana'a the water table was 30 meters, 98 feet, below surface in the 1970s, but had dropped to 1,200 meters, 3,900 feet, below the surface by 2012. The groundwater has not been regulated by Yemen's government's. 282. Even before the revolution, Yemen's water situation had been described as increasingly dire by experts, how worried that Yemen would be the first country to run out of water. 283. In part due to the 2015 Yemeni civil war, the infrastructure required to build better access to water has been delayed in construction. It is estimated that as many as 80% of the population struggles to access water to drink and bathe. Bombing has forced many Yemenis to leave their homes for other areas, leaving wells in the new areas under increasing demands. 284. Together with partners, UNICEF has advanced its efforts and provided access to safe and sustained drinking water to 8.8 million people, 5.3 million children. It scaled up its emergency wash assistance in Yemen to ensure sustainable wash services through capacity building of local wash authorities, solarization of water systems, and rainwater harvesting. 285. Demographics. Population density. 2022. Yemen's population is 33 million by 2021 estimates. 286. 287, with 46% of the population being under 15 years old and 2.7% above 65 years. In 1950, it was 4.3 million. 288, 289. By 2050, the population is estimated to increase to about 60 million. 290. Yemen has a high total fertility rate, at 4.45 children per woman. 291. Sana'a's population has increased rapidly, from roughly 55,000 in 1978, 292, to nearly 1 million in the early 21st century. 293 people. Yemen's tribal areas and Shia/Sunni regions. Shia Muslims predominant in the green area of Yemen's west, with the rest of Yemen being Sunni Muslims. When the states of North and South Yemen were established, most resident minority groups departed. 294. Yemen is a largely tribal society. 295. There are also hereditary caste groups in urban areas such as Al-Akdam. 296. There are also Yemenis of Persian origin. According to Muqaddasi, Persians formed the majority of Aden's population in the 10th century. 297, 298. Yemenite Jews once formed a sizable minority with a distinct culture from other Jewish communities in Thur. 299. Most emigrated to Israel in the mid-20th century, following the Jewish exodus from Arab and Muslim countries and Operation Magic Carpet. An estimated 100,000 people of Indian origin are concentrated in the southern part of the country around Aden, New Kala, Shia, Nahaj, Mocha and Hodeidah. 300. Most of the prominent Indonesians, Malaysians, and Singaporeans of Arab descent are Hadrami people with origins in southern Yemen in the Hadramaut Coastal region. 301. Today there are almost 10,000 Hadramis in Singapore. 302. The Hadramis migrated to Southeast Asia, East Africa and the Indian subcontinent. 303. The Machal were a collection of Arab Bedouin tribes of Yemeni origin who migrated westwards via Egypt. Several groups of Yemeni Arabs turned south to Mauritania, and by the end of the 17th century, they dominated the entire country. They can also be found throughout Morocco and in Algeria as well as in other North African countries. 304. Yemen is the birthplace of the Arabs and the language, Khartoumite Arabs. The original Arabs originated in Yemen. According to Arab tradition, Ishmael son of Abraham married a woman from the Jurum tribe. 305. Yemen is the only country in the Arabian Peninsula that is signatory to two international accords dating back to 1951 and 1967 governing the protection of refugees. 306. Yemen hosted a population of refugees and asylum seekers numbering approximately 124,600 in 2007. Refugees and asylum seekers were predominantly from Somalia, 110,600, Iraq, 11,000, Ethiopia, 2,307, and Syria. 308. Additionally, more than 334,000 Yemenis have been internally displaced by conflict. 306. The Yemeni diaspora is largely concentrated in neighboring Saudi Arabia, where between 800,000 and 1 million Yemenis reside. 309, and the United Kingdom, home to between 70,000 and 80,000 Yemenis. 310. Languages. Modern Standard Arabic is the official language, while Yemeni Arabic is used as the vernacular. In Al-Mara Governorate in the Far East and the island of Socotra, several non-Arabic languages are spoken. 311. 312. Yemeni Sign Language is used by the deaf community. Yemen is part of the homeland of the South Semitic languages. Mirai is the largest South Semitic language spoken in the nation, with more than 70,000 speakers. The ethnic group is called Mara. Socotri is another South Semitic language, with speakers on the island of Socotra isolated from the pressures of Arabic on the Yemeni mainland. According to the 1990 census, the number of speakers was 57,000. 313. Yemen Washam of the Old South Arabian languages. The Razahai language appears to be the only remaining Old South Arabian language. English is the most important foreign language, being widely taught and spoken mostly in the South, a former British colony. 314. Religion. Religion in Yemen. 315. Sunni Islam 56.36%, Zaydi, Shia Islam 42.1%, others 1.54%. Islam is the state religion. Religion in Yemen consists primarily of two Islamic religious groups. According to a UNCA report, the Shias make up about 45% of the population, Sunnis 53%, and there are also tiny minorities of other Shia groups, the Ismaili and Twelver communities. 316. Sunnis are primarily Shafi'i but also include significant groups of Malikis and Hanbalis. Shias are primarily Zaidi and also have significant minorities of Ismaili. 317, and Twelver. 317, 318, Shias. The Sunnis are predominantly in the south and southeast, which traditionally have less population. The Zaydis/Shias are predominantly in the north and northwest, where the vast majority of the Yemeni population traditionally lives, whilst the Ismailis are in the main centers such as Sana'a and Marib. There are mixed communities in the larger cities. 319, 320, according to Win/Gallup international polls, Yemen has the most religious population among Arab countries, and it is one of the most religious populations found anywhere in the world. 321, about 0.05% of Yemenis are non-Muslim, adhering to Christianity, Judaism, or Hinduism, or having no religious affiliation. Yemen is number 5 on Open Doors 2022 World Watch List, an annual ranking of 50 countries where Christians face the most extreme persecution. 322. Estimates of the number of Christians in Yemen range from 25,000 323 to 41,000. 324. A 2015 study estimates 400 Christians from a Muslim background reside in the country. 300